selling a lot more properties by incorporating YouTube and videos. So this is my buyer side. So let's say if I've got a property for sale, I just have these pre-written. My sign company, they do this little hand font. It looks like I wrote it on there with marker. But basically all I have to do is I just come in and I fill in the bedrooms and then the price. So it makes it a lot easier for me. I just buy them already written like this, and then I just fill it in with a marker, 3-bedroom, 14,000, whatever. It looks like it's handwritten, and people, for some reason, think that, hey, this is a motivated seller here, you know? So these work really good. And also another good place to put these is coming out of a Home Depot, because contractors go there, buyers go there, investors go there. They're going to be buying materials, rehab properties, or leaving Home Depot, they see your sign, they're going to call on it. So, and I'll, you know, let's say if I got a property out south, I'll put it by the Bannister Home Depot. If I've got one in Midtown, I'll put it up there on 31st, that Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever. As you're exiting there, it's a good place to catch a buyer that way. And basically, you know, with wholesaling, all we're really doing is we're just connecting the dots. We're just connecting the seller with the buyer, and we're just, you know, collecting the spread there in the middle. We're just the middleman there. And that's really what makes the deal happen. I always used to get tripped up in thinking I'm actually selling the property. We're really not. We're just connecting the two, and that's our value that we're bringing to the table here. That's how we get paid. We're already down here to my last end of it. The best advice I can give is just to take action. You know, don't try to get caught up in the details. If you have any questions, though, and you're not sure about how to put a deal together, don't let that scare you off. I just say, you know, jump in feet first. And if you ever want to partner on stuff, here's my contact information. I'm all about partnering. I think we all have to work together. And the more I help other people and work with other people, the more my business grows. So, and I think that's it. That's it right there. So,
that's your question.
Yes, sir.
Your first contract leads to exclusive option.
Yeah.
Can you put a time frame on that?
Sure. Let me get back to that here. I write mine up for 60 days. You know, and you could make that 90 days. You could make that 120 days, whatever you want. But the more time you have, the better, because that gives you more time to sell the property. You know, I just say 60 days is enough, pretty much. I'm fine with, you know, maybe doing 30 or whatnot, and we can always extend these too. If it's down to 30 days, I, you know, call the seller up and let them know, hey, I'm still working on it. Got some interest in it, but we just, you know, we need a little bit more time. So, and the one thing I found with sellers is, and here again, you know, full disclosure. Just be honest with them. Don't be afraid to tell them what you're doing, and just let them know that you're a resource to them. You're value to them. This is what I do. You know, I believe in it. I'm great at it. I've got buyers lined up. You know, you need to work with me. I'll help you get this property sold. We're going to partner to get this done. And I've got a little elevator's pitch that I can give to the sellers, and that's my little, you know. And the more you do that, you just get real comfortable with it. And I used to be real intimidated by that part of it, because I'm like, you know, why would a seller let me do this? Why wouldn't they just sell it on their own? We just have to let them know that we're going to bring some value to the transaction. So, yes?
I don't hear anything about you paying any money for these options. Are you getting this option for nothing?
You know what? I have been told, you know, I'm not about, I used to see where, you know, you put $10 down. I just think that's silly. This may not be a legally binding contract without the consideration, if you will. I've just never had a problem with it. I'd rather, to me, I'm more comfortable saying, just, you know, go with me, you know, instead of giving them a $10 earnest money or whatever, or $100. But to be honest, I don't really want to be putting my skin in the game if I don't have to. So I don't really put earnest money down either. So, yes.
What percentage of these contracts do you actually close?
Close on? I've gotten a lot better at them, and there again, it just becomes being more picky. One thing that you've got a national speaker coming next month, and these guys wanted me to kind of talk on this. He's going to be talking about his cash buyer system. Once I've built my buyers list, I'm kind of knowing what my buyers are looking for. And a lot of people will say, hey, do this in reverse. Go find the buyers first, then you're basically just going to go out shopping for them. So if I know what they're buying, and you know, 100% of my buyers are cash buyers, and they're coming out of the woodworks right now. You could go to Realty Track or look at a lot of MLS data, and the last time I saw it was at least 30% of the buyers were cash buyers. I think that's going to probably get up closer to 50% here. It's because the market's so down, and the cash buyers are realizing, hey, now's the time to buy. And so for a wholesaler, that's great because kind of having the mortgage background, I know that it's real tough. If somebody's got to get a loan, that lender's not going to like that assignment fee on that side of the HUD to the buyer. And so when I sell a property, I'm going to sell it to a cash buyer, and I'm probably at about 80% on my closings as far as like maybe an answer there. But it's because I'm getting more picky. I'm not just getting inventory to have properties on my website, which I used to do that. I don't want to waste my time on them, and if I can't get it for the right price, then I know I can sell it for them. I'm just going to have to pass, move on to the next one, and then I'm going to follow up with that seller 30 days, 60 days, and then maybe they're willing to sell it to me for the price that I know that I can sell it for. And follow-up's another good thing to practice there, which I didn't really talk about that. But if you follow up, you're going to get a lot of deals that way too.
So your sellers aren't in foreclosure or anything like that?
No, but well, my short sale ones are. I do short sales, and I can also use a mixture of. And here again, just to get back to one of the things here, the core strategies again that I learned as a wholesaler, they carry over to a lot of other investing. So I can kind of mix wholesaling with short sales in a way. I can make an offer on a pre-foreclosure property. I can get the property under control by my contract. Don't really put any earnest money down. Sometimes I'll put it on the contract, but I don't necessarily give it to them. I may give it at closing, or I can say in the contract that earnest money will be given once lender has approved the short sale. So I'm not tying my money up, but I can still put a lot of offers out there. And so I can get a property discounted at a short sale, and then I can just go ahead and wholesale to somebody else. But then you actually have to fund it. You know, 2 closings, that's a different little game there. A to B transaction, B to C transaction. I do a lot of those too. I really like, and they're not a lot of people don't want to deal with short sales either. So that's good. There's a lot of inventory, not a lot of competition. So, yes.
Sorry, I came in late, so you might have already addressed this.
I'm
curious, how do you get around the real estate laws? Do you have a real estate license?
I don't, and actually. Let's go back. I kind of explained that here.
Yeah, I apologize. I came in late. I
That's
thought
okay.
You must have addressed that.
What we do is, we're the buyer on the contract, and that's one thing that I used to think the same thing. This is why I just wanted to touch on this. When I come in as the buyer on the contract, I'm making an offer. My company, Blueprint Properties, I'm going to be the buyer. By doing that, that gives me an equitable interest in the property because I'm a principal in the transaction. And I'm not necessarily selling the house, I'm selling the contract. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're basically getting into an owner, basically a...
Not really owner finance. I'm just making an offer to buy it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say I offer to buy it for 10 grand. My company's the buyer. In my contract, I disclose that I'm going to advertise it for sale and I'm going to look for another end buyer. So I'm disclosing that full disclosure. And so I've got the assignment clause. My company buys it and or signs. And then I'm going to then have a separate contract with the end buyer when I assign it to them. So I'm basically selling them the contract.
Okay.
For the consideration of whatever my assignment fee is.
And
So
how do you sell yourself to the seller? What is your advantage over a real estate agent? Because you're basically providing the same service that a real estate agent.
I could say, hey, I'm not going to charge you commissions like a real estate agent would. I'm going to give you a full fair offer that I can close quickly. I'm not going to let you guess and just put it on MLS and see what sticks. I'm going to say, hey, I can get you $20,000 for that property. Here's what I feel like I can offer you. This is a cash price. Or if you maybe want to make a little bit more, we can try to buy it via terms. We can do owner finance. I might give you $30,000 with this amount down. So we can give them choices.
Right. And of course, you're not providing any sort of a guarantee. When the time expires, the time expires.
Yeah.
So the guy's got to trust you. The people
Sure.
have to trust you because they're taking their house off the market, if you will.
Well, a lot of times, when I buy these, I'm not looking on MLS for the properties.
No,
They're not listed,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
No, I understand.
And here again, it kind of goes back to marketing for the sellers. You want to get to them before they get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you see those We Buy Houses sign. Well, people call them up and they were great. They just want to sell their house quick. I've had people tell me, yeah, we got this house to sell. We just started driving around the neighborhoods and we're looking for one of those signs, And so, which we can't do that anymore, but, we just have to be a little bit more creative. But, basically what the value that I sell is, it's like I say, it's like, I've got cash buyers that I know are buying stuff right now. This is what we do. I can give you an offer on this house. I just really think it's worth this much. I know you want this much. And I kind of treat it like the Pawn Stars. If they say they want $10,000, I cut it in half. I'll give you $5,000 for it, And if you ever watch that show, that's kind of what those guys do. I'm like, okay, embarrassingly low offers. You know, if I'm not embarrassed what I paid for it, I probably won't be able to wholesale that property. You know, and you can just get a gut feeling too, man. When you make an offer, you're like, oh, I should have offered a little bit less, or man. But anyway, you know, it's you know, really the value that I sell is I've got a network of cash buyers, and my whole spiel is when I talk to somebody, you know, I intend to wholesale it. If they call me up, if it's what I like, I will buy it and keep it and rehab it for myself. 90% of the time, you know, for the amount of leads coming in, I don't have the funding available to do all that, and so I'm still going to wholesale it and try to make a couple bucks. And what I'll say is, you know, Mr. Seller, this isn't a property that I would like to buy from my portfolio. But what I could do is, I've got some cash buyers that are looking for properties in your area right now. They like something like this. What I can do is I can give you an offer on your property, and then I'm just going to go ahead and charge them a referral fee. And so I'm not going to charge you any commissions, but I'm going to give you an honest price of what I feel like I can get it for. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, and your advantage is, I guess, is that you're going to convince them, hey, I'm not going to charge you commission. You would have gotten the same price anyway if you went through a real estate agent, because you'd have to pay them commission.
And I'm going to buy it as is. You know, you don't have to do anything to it. And I'll also offer, sometimes too, we see these houses are full of garbage and trash. On my YouTube channel, I've got a little flip tip that I did. And one thing that we do too is, a lot of times these houses are, you know, the tenant just moved out, the landlord is like, I just want to get rid of it, I'm tired of it. They don't want to be a landlord anymore. There'll be a bunch of stuff in that house, and I'll say, you know what, we'll buy it as is, and then I'll leave an offer to clean this house out for you. And so that might help me to get it for a little bit cheaper, and then by cleaning it out, if you look at pictures, if you go to my channel, it's Kansas City Home Buyer is my YouTube channel, or if afterwards I've got some cards I can hand out. Go there and you'll see some before and after pictures. It makes the house look so much more valuable without all that junk in there. Yeah. So it does two things. It helps me to get it for cheaper, and it helps me to sell it for more money. You know? So, yes?
What price point are you having success with this technique?
I like the stuff, you know, honestly me, I'm a little bit different guy. I like the cheaper stuff like this, 20,000 and under. I'm just now starting to get into like where we're rehabbing and selling turnkey. I know, you know, these houses that I'm wholesaling to people, I know that after there's value added with the tenant placed in them, with them rehabbed. If you can get the right buyers, a lot of international buyers right now that are buying here in Kansas City, I can sell these same houses rehabbed, you know, 40,000. People are buying them for it. So I like these little cash deals. To me, you know, sometimes the junkier ones that I don't want to mess with it. Sometimes those are the ones that sell the quickest, and you can make a couple grand on it, you know. Get them for $5 grand, sell them for $7. A lot of people have 10 grand or under to spend on a house. May not be the most desirable home, and a lot of investors will just stay away from that stuff. But there's money to be made there. So I kind of try to have different divisions of my company. I'll have the little junkers, you know, not to be a bad word, but the little junkers, and then maybe the medium stuff, you know. And I look for my properties kind of along 71 Highway there. It's a nice little area where there's these types of priced homes there. So and as you get south, they get a little bit more expensive. So about 20,000 and under, you know. So, and average income's about $3,000 to $5,000 on a deal, assignment fees. So, and you know, I find when I try to get greedy, the houses don't sell. If I were to just, you know, blast it out there at a better, more fair price, I would probably sell a lot quicker. So, because first impression's a lot with the buyer's list. So. Any other questions or no? All right, cool. Well, it's nice meeting you guys. Anybody wants to